Alright, so my name is Warrant Officer Haffy Leal, and this video will be to show you how to polish your boots. So there's a couple things you need before you start polishing. We recommend that you buy kiwi polish, just normal black shoe polish, as well as a kiwi cloth. So they just have this nice red logo here. And with my polish, I'm going to open it up, and in the top lid, I'm going to pour some water. So along with your polish and your water and your cloth, what you need is a toothbrush. So we're going to blacken our welts. So to do that, I have some just old polish. You can use just your polish, your regular polish. I just have some old stuff that I like to use. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your toothbrush and you're going to rub it onto the polish and get as much polish on the toothbrush as possible. I like to tap it on the corner of my can just to make sure that there's no excess bits that are just going to fall off. And so from here, you're going to take your toothbrush and you're going to start putting polish. You're just going to rub the polish into what's called the welt of your boot. So that's where the seam is. So I just rub the polish into my boot from my toothbrush. And you are supposed to get inside by the stitches, but I also like to polish the rest of my welt. So make sure that it's just nice and black. You do this around the whole boot. So I have a cloth on my lap to make sure that I don't get any polish on my jeans, because you can see it's kind of crumbling off. So I'm making sure that I'm getting the sides as well as the heel and toe of my boot. Another way that I found that you can blacken your welts is if you don't have a toothbrush that you can use, you can take an old wool sock and get it coated in polish as well, and that will work. So what I'm doing right now is just brushing off any extra little bits of chunks of polish left on my boots so they don't fall off while I'm doing the rest of my polishing. So now that my welt is nice and black, we don't need the toothbrush anymore, and we can close up this old polish. So from here, what I like to do is I take a nice kiwi cloth that I use to polish my boot, and what I do is I take a finger and I put it on a clean spot on the cloth, and I twist the cloth around my finger. To twist it all the way around and tuck it underneath itself and pull it tight so that way I don't have to hold it. So from here, you take your finger and you get it nice and soaking wet in the water. And from here, I do about 3 small circles in my polish. So I just have a little bit of polish on the tip of my finger. From here, I always start with the heel of my boot, but it's totally up to you where you start. But what you want to do is you want to get the polish all over the section that you're polishing, and then start moving in tiny circles. I go counterclockwise, you can go clockwise, but the key is just tiny circles. Tiny, tiny circles, and you're not applying too much pressure. You're just applying enough pressure so that the polish stays warm and continues to get shinier. So I'm polishing all the way down to my welt with this. Okay, so now that I've finished polishing that section, I get a new clean spot on my cloth. Twist it around my hand. Get it wet again. And put another 3 little circles of polish on my finger. And you do this for every section of your boot that you polish, and you have to polish all the way around your boot. So by all the way, I mean all of the heel, all of the side of your boot, as well as this entire front and the other side. So everything gets nice and shiny. So when I polish the side of my boot, I make sure that I get all of this area here. And I make sure that I get around the holes for your laces. So now that I've polished both sides and the heel of my boot, I'm going to start polishing the toe. And if you noticed, when I polished the sides, I came to about this crease here in the toe, and when I polish the toe, I polish all of this area. I generally save the toe to last because it's often the first part of the boot that you see, so it has less likely a chance of being scuffed while you polish the rest of your boot. And I start in the middle of the toe, and I make sure that I get polish all across. I even make sure that I get polish up into the tongue of my boot, so all the way up here. And again, it's just small circles. So you're polishing your boot until all of the circles go away. So when you put the polish on your boot, you see circles with the polish. But as you continue to polish and make those light circles with your finger, the polish will start to even out, and you'll start to not see the little circles that you're making with your finger. So now I've polished all areas of my boot. So before I started polishing, what I did was I took the laces off of my boot. So now I'm going to put them back on. What you do is you take your lace and you line up the ends of the lace together and you pull it nice and tight. And from there, you take each end of the lace and you push it in towards the center of the boot on both sides. From here, again, I line up the tips of the laces and I pull them tight. So what we want to do is have our laces eventually end up looking like nice bars like this. So to do that, I take the right lace and I skip a loop. So I put it not into this loop here, but the one above it. So I've skipped a loophole. And with the lace on the left, I put it directly above this lace here. So the loop directly above this. And I pull that tight. So now I've skipped a hole on the right and gone one hole directly above on the left. With the lace on the left, you pull it over to the right and feed it through that hole. Now with the lace on the right, you're going to do the same and go towards the left. All right, so now the lace on the right is again going to skip this hole here because there's a lace already through there, and you're going to put it through the hole above that. So now the lace on the right, now that you've skipped the lace on the left, or the loop on the left, you're going to take the right lace and feed it over and through into that loop. And the one on the left, you do the same. So I lace my boots up to about there before I put them on. So if my foot was in this boot right now, it'd be all nice and tight all the way up, and I'm going to tie the knot. So to do this, we're going to tie a reef knot. And to tie a reef knot, you're going to take the right lace and put it over top of the left lace. From here, you're going to curl the right lace underneath of the left lace and pull it tight. So right over left, and now you're going to take the left lace and do the same to the right lace. So the left lace will go over top of the right lace and under. And then once you're done with that, you tuck your laces in so that they don't hang out when you're wearing your boot. And that is how you polish and lace your boots.